We are here this morning because today marks the 219th anniversary of General Francis Marion's death. General Marion, affectionately known as the Swamp Fox, was known for his determination, his courage, and his ingenuity. Marion made a significant impact without having many resources. He made the most out of what he had and found ways to do things when he didn't have the resources available to him. In many ways, Francis Marion epitomizes the people of the PD. Our citizens have faced periods of strife, challenge, and difficult circumstance, but have always persevered to meet their immediate needs and ensure a promising future for their neighbors and children. The PD takes a special pride in its self-sufficiency. You know today is a big day when Dr. Carter shows up in a tie. For those of you who spend much time with Dr. Carter, you know what I'm talking about. I've had the pleasure of being here for about 6 months, and I've had the honor of joining Dr. Carter on his campus several times, and he gives me constant grief for wearing a tie. So for Dr. Carter to show up in a tie today, you know it's a special day. We're really gathered here today to honor 3 people with the Marion Medallion. The idea behind the medallion stems from a 2009 report on the challenges faced by the communities along the I-95 corridor in South Carolina, including those, of course, here in the PD. A recommendation in that report was to find ways to celebrate the good works of the people of the region. Executives from Francis Marion University and the Morning News discussed the idea, and the Marion Medallion was born. It was first awarded in 2012, and it is the intent of the 2 sponsoring institutions to continue in perpetuity. The criteria for determining and identifying Marion Medallion recipients are deliberately broad. Eligible recipients must have contributed in a significant manner to the well-being of the citizens in one or more of the counties in the PD. Potential recipients are not restricted by geographic or topical boundaries, and recognition may be for sustained service over several years. It could be for single actions or a combination thereof. No less than 1 and no more than 4 recipients will be named each year. The recipients' activities may address single issues or multiple areas of need. Recipients of the Marion Medallion are identified and selected by the senior executives of Francis Marion University and the Morning News. You'll note that each of our previous recipients exhibit the same determination, courage, and ingenuity shown by General Marion. Our past winners include Kathy Baxley, the executive director of the Darlington Free Medical Clinic. She was awarded in 2012. Henry Johnson and Hayward King, chief executives of the Lake City-based W. Lee Flowers Company. Former Florence Police Chief Ralph Porter, the executive director and founder of Choices Charter School, was named last year. And Bill and Olive Timberlake of Hartsville, also last year. This year, our first recipient, when Henry Badie moved to the PD many years ago to be near his wife's family, he wasn't sure how he would spend his days, but was certain that service to his fellow man would be involved. Such a calling has been a big part of Pastor Badie's life since his days of growing up in Chester, Pennsylvania, through his 20 years in the United States Air Force and beyond. Henry and Joyce Badie joined Temple Church of God in East Florence, where they quickly found themselves confronted with ample opportunity to serve. Need was all around them. Henry rolled up his sleeves, signed on as an associate pastor with Bishop J.H. Sherman at Temple, and began tending to the needs of the East Florence community, both through his church and beyond. In particular, Pastor Badie became a longtime advocate for the needs of the homeless and destitute in Florence. He is among the founders of, and still plays a key role with, the J.H. Sherman Food Pantry, which serves 60-plus people weekly from its location next to the Temple Church of God. Badie's personal and pastoral generosity is well known in the community, where daily he seeks ways to help and serve those in need. For this ongoing life of service, Henry Badie Jr. is the recipient of the 2014 Marion Medallion.
Thank you very much. I know it's hard to not give a preacher a microphone and him not say anything, but it's not about me. Even though I'm receiving this, I have to thank God, first of all, for the opportunity to serve. All I've known in my life is to serve, from the time I was a little boy, through my military service in the Air Force, to now serving in the ministry here in Florence, South Carolina. All I know to do is serve. For our Savior said he didn't come to be served, but to serve, and I'm trying to follow his example. I am really, truly grateful and humbled by this award, and I thank you, my friends, and all co-workers, and most of all, I want to thank God that he's given me the opportunity to be here. I am grateful, and as I said to somebody before, that it's a very special honor to have the Marion Medallion, because in 1998, my wife graduated with a bachelor's degree from Francis Marion University. And I am so glad. And she went home to be with the Lord in 2010, but I know she's smiling right now and said, that's my boy, that's my boy. Thank you very much. God bless you.
It's my pleasure today to recognize our second recipient of the Marion Medallion. And before I get into that, Clyde, I want you to know I wore this for you and Pat, okay? Let me just say a few words about my friend Clyde Odom. As with many pastors, Clyde came to Florence through a call for his ministry, a call from God. But God was pretty specific with Clyde. He told him to come to Florence. And Clyde told me it was a little like being in the belly of the whale. He didn't want to come to Florence, but like Jonah, he got carried over here and spewed up on the shores of Florence. Now, this occurred in 1999, and Clyde, I came over the same year. I came in a moving van. I didn't come in a whale. But I think you passed me on a big gray whale. I saw it. You know, Clyde Odom's life has truly been a life of service. And the movement to Florence worked out all right for him, just as most calls from God do. You know, Clyde and his wife Pat came over here. They settled in the King of Kings Church in North Florence, where they really began reaching out to those in need in their community as a part of a wide-ranging ministry of assistance. that really broadened his pastoral duties rather substantially. They did this as a part of what they felt was a call from God to tend to the flock. Ultimately, Clyde's work developed into the House of Hope program that everybody in this room knows about. It was a partnership with the city of Florence in which dilapidated houses were rehabilitated by volunteers and then occupied by families in need. Pastor Clyde Odom and his friends then helped the residents develop the needed skills so that they can create a successful plan to get on with their lives in a very, very productive and committed way. You know, this is a comprehensive approach to helping those in need in this area and this region, and it's one of those approaches that really has turned out to be enormously successful. Of course, Clyde sums it up best by saying that it mostly is successful because it satisfies his belief that members of God's kingdom, all members of God's kingdom, should be saturated with love. For making his ministry and his life's work a true lifeline for those in need throughout this region, we're proud to recognize Pastor Clyde Odom as a 2014 recipient of the Marion Medallion. Clyde, come on.
I remind Dr. Carter that many years ago he ate some of my food. We used to own a restaurant in downtown Columbia right on the corner of Sumter and Lady across from, what was the name of that bank? Anyway, Dr. Carter used to come in, and Earl Morris, a good friend of mine at the time, he would bring him in and he got a chance, and we did pretty good, huh? I am filled this morning and thankful. I thank God for his calling on our lives for my wife and I to come to Florence. I'm so glad he sees what we can't see. I'm so glad he knows what we don't know. And I'm so glad that he called us here. We love Florence, South Carolina. We love the people here in this community. We love what he is doing, what he's doing is bringing us together as one church. Without walls, without division, a church that is saturated by love. I'm here not because I'm Clyde Odom, but because of a lot of other people. My wife, my helpmate, my friend. If it wasn't for her, I would have took off running a long time ago. But she said she would been with me. But she has been a guiding light, not just for me, but all the women that she impacts and helps. She's always doing something. If you look in the trunk of her car right now, you'll probably find a change of clothes for 3 or 4 different children. When we run across, oh, I got something, if you don't need a jacket, I got a jacket for you. You open up the trunk, there's the jacket. I'm blessed because of our church family, King of Kings. When we got there were 3 members. My salary was $50 a week for about 2 years. Often I would have to loan the church money to keep the lights on. But God has blessed us. Our church now, what's the population of Florence? 35,000? Our church has grown from 3 to 35,000. Wherever we are, it's a part of the church. We're blessed with children that all know the Lord, who serve the Lord with gladness. Grandchildren, we have 10. I should have started with them first. Wonderful little ones that love God. I got a grandson, we call him Bud. He can pray how old is Bud? 12. He can pray the paint off of a wall. But it's just not only that. I thank God for you. The valued friendships that we developed, the love that we have for one another. I look at Hans and all others. I walked in offices just plopped out. Bloop. Here I am. And we begin to talk and begin to share and the vision, the pieces of one vision coming together as one whole. And that's our goal, to see Florence become a city of prayer and a city of love. When people drive by on 95 and come in on 20, they should feel the love before they even get into the city and know that this place is very different. This place is a place of love and God's presence. I thank you. I thank the University of Francis Marion. I thank the Morning News and all that staff for everything that you've done. And may God bless you, and we continue to work for the kingdom of God.
Our third recipient, Henry Brunson, probably did not suspect that all that would happen when he cooked up his first pot of fundraising chicken bog. That was many, many years ago. But as Henry no doubt would tell you, God moves in mysterious ways, and so Cooks for Christ came to pass. The grassroots organization has grown over the years from a small group making a few potfuls of bog to help Smurfit Stone paper mill co-workers who were down on their luck, to a powerhouse nonprofit that can churn out 2,000 savory servings to provide significant financial help to all kinds of people and causes across the PD. And always at the center is the ever-optimistic Henry Brunson, a man whose life has been defined by service, be it the Cooks for Christ, the Boy Scouts of America, the Gideons, or the Latta Volunteer Fire Department. We are delighted to honor Henry Brunson as a 2014 recipient of the Marion Medallion. Surprise, surprise, Henry could not be with us today. You won't believe this, but he's off cooking chicken bog somewhere for a cause. We were, however, able to record a few words from him in advance.
This award has come to me as making me just as humble. And, you know, I accept this award on behalf of my organization, the Cooks for Christ. And as I come to it, it makes me very proud that God has worked this organization the way He has and intervened into this organization for it to do where He can help other people the way we do come into it. I want to know that the love that God gives us, and we can share this love back with other people. It's just that simple. You know, it's undescribably what it does mean, because I just want people to see God in me and see Christ coming out, because Christ gave me this love. Christ gave me this love I can share back with other people. And just the way I look at life, helping others. I just hate to tell people no, but I love people, I love to help people. And it is a very big honor to accept this award as it comes in. But it's coming into the Cooks for Christ. I'm not just Henry Brunson, but the Cooks for Christ. That's the way I like what it feels.
So Henry's not here to accept this in person, but we do have some people that are here to accept it on his behalf. So it's that Mr. John Altman.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Can I
You may.
say a word or two? I promised to get you out before 2 o'clock. I could stand here and talk about Henry Brunson, though I've only known him for a few years. I've known him since I retired, and God blessed me by having made this relationship with him. First of all, I'm delighted to accept this award on Henry's behalf. He asked me to express how sorry he was for not being able to be here, but as was pointed out, he is in Lancaster today, cooking a chicken bog at his brother's church up there. They've run on some hard times, and he's cooking for them today. Cooks for Christ is, well, not Cooks for Christ, but Friends Helping Friends and Cooks for Christ was probably begun about 30 years ago. Smurfett Stone, he wanted to help a friend out there that had lost his home, and the management said, well, if you help one, you've got to help all. And so this is the beginning. He's been cooking chicken bog ever since. He will be the first, as pointed out in his message there, that God is the mastermind of everything that Cooks for Christ does. Every meeting, every chicken bog, everything that we do, God is at the center of it. Now 30 years later, Henry's still cooking chicken bog, and it's not something that he feels is necessary to do. It's how his heart has driven him to do. So on behalf of Henry, I accept this award, and I say thank you very, very much.
You know, that concludes our formal ceremony today, but let me just say this before we all spread out and leave. You know, this is a very distinctive award. As Steve told you early on, you can't apply for this award. You can't be nominated. It's not a popularity contest. We don't go around the community asking for votes. The way you get this award is you serve the people around you who most desperately need that help and most desperately need the service. And I've got to tell you, every year we participate in this, I walk out of here feeling a little better about the nature of this community and the way that we take care of one another. You know, Clyde summed it up best, how a church can grow from 3 to 35,000. You know, there are 700,000 people in the PD. That's our next step, Clyde, okay? Have a nice day.